Beauty Lies Within by MiraculousDragonMaster. Chapter 7. A Jealous Queen. Chrysalis hotly stared at the 6 girls that were being reflected in the mirror. Right now, they were all together and having a good conversation over at the Ponyville train station, where that prissy fashionista Rarity arrived from Canterlot. Then another train pulled into the station, and they were about to get on before they stopped and each gave a hug to the dragon boy, who had noticeably grown in the last few years. Flash will be here in a couple of days, the one known as Princess Twilight Sparkle said to him. Make sure he gets comfortable and knows the rules. You don't mean Flash Sentry, the guard from the Crystal Empire that you still make giggle eyes at? The cowgirl, Applejack, said with a smirk, making all the other girls "Ooh" in a teasing manner. Twilight rolled her eyes with a small pink blush blooming on her cheeks. You got that, Spike? Absolutely, he said playfully, saluting her. Great, she added, and began to board the train. Chrysalis then noticed that the dragon boy still blushed when Rarity hugged him, but she sensed that his affections for her are lessening to a still strong friendship level. But when Applejack hugged him, they both seemed to linger a bit, and she sensed their connection with each other was starting to grow into a much stronger level. The one bond that is the most sweet to feed on. The changeling queen then used her powers to look into the memories of the others. From what she could see, 4 of them have growing connections with a simple god, one that was most likely mentioned before, a fellow Wonderbolt, and 2 friends who shared similar attributes to them. However, that wimpy Pegasus girl, Fluttershy, didn't seem to have any strong connections with anyone else, other than her friends. Yet, she thought bitterly. Chrysalis glared at the girls as their train began to leave. It just had to be them! As she mentally began to complain, she thought back over the last few weeks. When she would walk around in her Sabina persona, she was too busy strutting her stuff to make men look her way, to overhear what others were saying. Oh, Princess Twilight is such a lovely, benevolent and kind ruler. Rainbow Dash is just so awesome, and she's pretty attractive. For a country girl, Applejack does have a certain natural beauty that just matches her honest heart. Fluttershy is such a sweet, kind little angel. Pinkie Pie really knows how to brighten anybody's day with that cute, silly smile of hers, and Rarity is just absolutely gorgeous, both inside and out. Now, remembering what others had been saying about those girls, Chrysalis felt her cold, changeling insides boil. She stomped hard on the floor, making everything around her shake. Those girls were always in her way. Chrysalis turned to a nearby door beside the mirror and opened it, her hand lighting up with bright green magic outlined in black. One by one, 6 bug-like common changelings came into the room. Throughout the years, the queen slowly began to reproduce more changelings as she began to regain her power. However, it still wasn't enough. Thanks to them! In anger and jealousy, she began to sing. As she did, she first thought of Fluttershy, then Twilight. Why would a fellow want a girl like her, a frail and fluffy beauty? Why can't a fellow ever once prefer a solid girl like me? She's a frothy little bubble, with a flimsy kind of charm, and with very little trouble I could break her little arm. Why would a fellow want a girl like her, so obviously unusual? Why can't a fellow ever once prefer a usual girl like me? As she did, Chrysalis pictured the 6 girls circling around the room, and it was not the work of her faithful changelings. Her cheeks are a pretty shade of pink, but not any pinker than a rose is. Her skin may be delicate and soft, but not any softer than a doe's is. Her neck is no whiter than a swan's. She's only as dainty as a daisy. She is only as graceful as a bird. So why are the fellows going crazy? The other changelings began to sing along with their queen, as her mind then drifted towards Rarity. Oh, why would a fellow want a girl like her, a girl who's merely lovely? Why can't a fellow ever once prefer a girl who's merely me? What's the matter with the man? What's the matter with the man? What's the matter with the man? Yes, some are witty, so disarming, and I actually like the way they hold a room. Clever, cunning, ever charming. How do I make those girls go away for good? She crushed her fists in frustration and envy as she continued to lament with her changelings echoing her. It's a pity I'm as pretty, plus I've got the patience of a perfect saint. So I'm waiting, always waiting. Nevertheless, I'm in a mess. They're hard to impress, while those girls get them to acquaint. Next, while her subjects sang, Chrysalis turned her thoughts to Rainbow Dash. Why would a fellow want a girl like her, a girl who isn't prissy? Why can't a fellow ever once prefer a high-strung girl like me? Again, the Queen of the Changelings saw the images of 6 girls in her mind. Her cheeks are a pretty shade of pink, but not any pinker than a rose's. Her skin may be delicate and soft, but not any softer than a doze's. Her neck is no whiter than a swan's. She's only as dainty as a daisy. She's only as graceful as a bird. So why are the fellows going crazy? As the song began to reach its peak, Chrysalis thought to the last 2 girls that were threatening her plot, Applejack and Pinkie Pie. Oh, why would a fellow want a girl like her, a girl who's merely lovely? Why can't a fellow ever once prefer a girl who's merely me? What's the matter with the man? What's the matter with the man? What's the matter with the man? The changeling queen turned her head back to her mirror to see all of her most hated enemies smiling and laughing at something as they sat together. They're the matter, let me at them! What's the matter with the man? 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 The enraged queen was just about to strike her mirror, as if she was about to smite them down, but then suddenly stopped. She lowered her arm as a plot began to form in her head. Chrysalis grinned maliciously as she watched the girls excitedly look out the train windows, watching the landscapes change. Enjoy your fun, you 6, she hissed quietly, for soon it won't last long. End of chapter. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed that. I find that chapter quite funny. I've always loved that song from that version of Cinderella, and adapting it for the Snow White version of the story, okay, I'm liking that. And it was really, really fun to do Chrysalis's jealous voice in song. That was a fun exercise. It was like, you have to make it snide and sound so condescending while also being jealous. It's a lot of fun. Villains are actually some of my favourites to do. I love some of the other characters, don't get me wrong, and they are my favourites. But in terms of actual voice acting chops, that is a blast. Anyway, you guys know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe and hit that bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, night, whatever time zone you're in. Bye my guys, gals and non-binary pals. I'll see you in another video. Take care.